We're on the Osgood Ditch Trail in the Illinois Valley, and we're doing some general trail maintenance. It'd be a little tight, but you could set your angle so that basically you're getting out. I first got involved with the Siskiyou Mountain Club in 2017. I grew up in the Rogue Valley, but I'd never backpacked or seen a wilderness area. And the Siskiyou Mountain Club gave me that opportunity, and I found a great community of people here that support, the rural communities of Southern Oregon in providing access to wild places. And that's a mission that's really hit home for me, literally and figuratively. So I can't get enough.
After 15 years of doing business with the federal government, Siskiyou Mountain Club has seen how the winds of politics impact public lands. But nothing compares to January of 2025, when the new administration fired more than 4,000 Forest Service employees and froze the contracts that make up 50% of the nonprofit's budget. But the story starts long before that. For thousands of years, indigenous people actively managed the North American landscape. Then European settlers brought their own management strategies to the New World, clearing the nation's forests.
It was always, one forested horizon after another, and you cut and cut, harvest, and don't plant. It was cut and run. A land of incredible natural resource bounty meets the Industrial Revolution, and that was the history of this country. By the later 1800s, there begins to be this fear of what was thought to become a timber famine.
President Theodore Roosevelt soon nominated Gifford Pinchot to become chief of a new agency, the United States Forest Service.
It was a real change in America from this land of plenty, keep logging, keep doing whatever, it's more and more out there, to finally ring, well, we do have some limits, and let's think about this, and let's take care of what we have.
In the 1930s, Franklin Delano Roosevelt launched the Civilian Conservation Corps, a workforce program that developed trails, campsites, picnic areas, roadways, and grand lodges still operating today. Out-of-work engineers were responsible for layout and design, and with more than 3 million Corps members at their convenience, managers weren't shy about blasting rock, building bridges, and taking on visionary projects. This golden era of recreation on national forests would be extended with a renewed appetite for timber to satiate the housing boom following World War II, and the receipts from those logs were used to fund a robust recreation outfit through the 1980s.
They began with clear cuts. There's still a lot of them you can still see. That's what the timber management program is what paid for me.
At that time of the Forest Service, we were fairly well staffed. We still had a lot of ranger districts. We had a young adult Conservation Corps crew. But to understand the Forest Service in 1980 is, timber was king. So even though we had all these resource people working, really what was, the tail wagging the dog was timber.
Owls have long been a source of fascination. The spotted owl in particular has attracted a great deal of attention recently because of its dependence on old-growth forests. And as these forests are logged, its habitat has changed. Today, many biologists are concerned that the spotted owl may be on its way to extinction.
The listing of the spotted owl in the early 90s, that was a big shift in the Forest Service, especially in the Northwest.
Southwestern Oregon was kind of ground zero in that whole episode known as the Timber Wars.
We went from 12 billion board feet, nationwide national forest logging, 12 billion board feet in the late 1980s, to 3 billion board feet today. And it's been 3 billion board feet for the past 30 years.
Drastic reductions in timber harvest were followed by commensurate cuts to the agency's recreation program. Districts were forced to run skeleton crews to maintain their trails. Places hardest to reach were put at the bottom of the list, creating a backlog. Then wildfires started to get bigger and more intense.
In appropriations terms, fire just swallowed recreation, fish, wildlife, hydrology, archaeology, you name it, clean sweep. And the Forest Service in many ways is forcing the issue. by abandoning dispersed backcountry recreation opportunities, sites, places, and then finding out, oh, well, I guess somebody does care about it. Knock yourself out.
It was the spring of 2009. Jill and I were newly engaged, and we went down and to the Chetco Canyon. You know, we were used to kind of these trailheads that were developed with nice signs, and to coming to an area that was just frankly unmanaged. Somewhere here there's supposed to be a trail, but it wasn't there. You know, it had been filled in with logs and grown up with brush. And furthermore, nobody had done anything about it. I was just sick of complaining about it, about the trail conditions. I was talking to anybody that would listen, saying, who's doing anything about this? And the answer was nobody, and it made me upset. And I took that energy and I started throwing logs off the trail.
And we gathered some friends together, and we had a bunch of crappy old rusty tools, and we went out and said, we're gonna do this because we want to see these places.
Over the course of 15 years, the club grew its reach and now manages over 400 miles of trails across the Pacific Northwest. Volunteers, staff, and a Wilderness Conservation Corps program put young people to work doing what it takes to keep these national treasures alive.
We'll keep on pushing as far as we can. What we're looking like is basically going through this dead stuff, no shade, for the next eternity. Find that way to keep yourself motivated and other people motivated, right? If we all fall and go down that easy path of, oh man, this sucks, it's hot, I'm tired, and not taking that step up and listening to, oh hey, we got this, we can do it.
But in 2025, the Forest Service was hit with mass firings at the hands of Elon Musk and his Doge team, who also canceled contracts and stopped payment on invoices for services rendered on active agreements. Overnight, they eroded trust that had taken 15 years to build.
The damage has been done. Even if not everybody that they want to fire gets fired, the morale within the ranks is just, they've been devastated.
There was a level of trust that's been breached at this point.
All right, if I could grab everybody's attention, I want to talk just a little bit about business and where we're at right now. We've got over 1,200 members who give annually, okay? We can pull this thing off, and we can end up on the other side of this thing stronger than we went in, and we'll be on our own 2 feet, right? We'll be on our own 2 feet, and we're not gonna kiss any rings or lick any boots along the way, okay? Right? We are not going to dilute our values of public lands for everyone because someone else wants us to.
I think that the question now is whether that work gets done at all. Not so much who does it. I think that train has left the station. The choices are, will Siskiyou Mountain Club, will National Forest Foundation be doing that work? Will you be getting the money to do that work? Or will the work simply not get done?
You know, having worked with staff, volunteers, interns, all around this region, I know that we're going to figure this out because that's just kind of what we do. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're the group that cuts the impenetrable brush, the miles of jackstraw, and we do it because we love it. And this sure as hell is not going to stop us.